Hello, friends. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jenna, and this is The Joy of Certainty. It is designed to nurture your mind, body, and soul. From empowering your mind to embracing new perspectives, I am here to make the pursuit of knowledge a delightful adventure in rewriting your story. I invite you to join me in unraveling the profound tapestry of knowledge that promises not just an understanding of your life, but find joy in the certainty of your path. Let's dive in.
Episode 1! Yay! Welcome. So this is episode 1. This is our first episode.
Yeah.
Together.
We're bringing it back.
Yes. Amazing. Welcome.
Okay.
So
You had something you want to talk about.
I did. It's funny because I, on my drive here, I thought of, you had texted saying, you're never...
Okay. Backing up a little
We're backing
bit,
up,
right?
yes.
You don't have... I have an undefined route and you do not.
And I do not.
You do not.
And so I had informed Jenna I was on my way to record this podcast recording. And lo and behold, I had not moved yet.
About an hour after she was supposed to be here.
Yes. And so I had said, I'd received a message saying, you're not moved by pressure. And I responded saying, yeah, because I'm living in alignment with me. And the whole invitation in what has been built in ARIS and what is coming from us in the guided podcast now is to return everybody to
The coherence.
to coherence within themselves and allowing that to be the way that they move and that we move.
That we move. And acknowledging that and allowing that to be okay.
Yes.
Right? It was, the text came in a way of I giggled at myself because I'm like, she's not feeling no root pressure to get here. And I'm someone who, as soon as that root pressure shows up, I'm like, I'm late, I have to be there. I'm like, and that's where I'm reeling that back in to not have to feel that way. And that is something I learned from you.
Yeah. Oh, and
she's living her life and I respect her for that.
And I love you for that because I'm allowed to move in that way. Mind you, I did acknowledge, because this is where we begin that journey, is just accepting and loving where we are beginning.
And that awareness.
That awareness of that. And so I fully responded with, yep, I'm moving at my own pace, where my sort of reining back in of that energy is that my mouth is a little bit ahead. And so in those moments of catching myself where my mind is like, yep, I'm on my way, but my body is saying not quite at the pace that you're informing other people of, is where we sort of learn to bring all of those pieces into alignment. And so catching myself being like, I'm not actually leaving, even though I'm telling you I'm leaving. The intention is there, but that is really the invitation. So it's the witnessing, allowing that we're both moving in that way, and also equally acknowledging and loving that, I did show up an hour later than planned.
But it's also allowing that of yourself because you know that that's who you are. You know that that's how you're meant to move, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
We're taught that it's actually not okay, but that's not actually the truth.
Yep.
Right.
And when we move from that place of coherence and sovereignty in ourselves, we actually, I was moving in peace and in joy.
Yes.
Because I wasn't moving from that place
of stress.
There was no stress. There was no pressure.
Yeah.
And when you surround yourself by people who have that awareness and, love you unconditionally, allow you to be you, then you open the invitation for being met.
Yes, and it allows you to then be you because you're allowing others to be themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so there's a ripple in this whole invitation around getting into coherence with yourself, which is going to allow you and actually ripple that out to allow others to get into coherence with themselves.
Yeah, it's allowing yourself to sit in that light and bring that light to others.
Absolutely. I think there's there's a real invitation for us to understand that like we have not moved that way always.
No, we're learning ourselves.
We're learning ourselves, and we're stepping into that embodiment. And I think there's the wisdom and the guidance comes from having walked the complete opposite of it first. And so you're at a place, you're at a place where you can witness me not moving in a place of pressure. You can witness yourself moving in a place of pressure. So being in that place allows us to come back to what really matters, which is our own frequency within our heart. I have a question for you. You might tell me, wise one. Okay, so what initiated, what was birthed out of this desire to step into this place of sharing this wisdom with everybody else?
Initially or currently?
Oh, I think both. Or
I think there's always, if we start initially, there's always just within who I am that it's meant, there's something greater in the sense of sharing that love of life, that love of self with others, with humanity, with yourself, right? And allowing that to actually be the norm, right? Allowing that love to be the place that we really do need to reside in, and know that we are accepted for exactly who we are, not who others expect us to be. And then from that has birthed all this, the self-development and the interest and the guided lines of like books to read or conversations to have, the random meet cutes that people have, right? Like our cute little meetup, and like then allowing us to work through individually to then lead us here. But knowing that the world needs access to knowing themselves in an easy way is really what birthed this. Right? Because
there's a lot of noise out there.
There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of coaches. There's a lot of mentors. There's a lot of, this is how you have to do it. And we know that that's right for some people. But we also know that it's not right for you. It's not right for me. What other people are putting out there for the most part.
We're returning to a place of where information is accessible everywhere. Clarity is possible to anyone, but the embodiment of truth is very, very specific to your frequency, is very specific to my frequency, and it's individuated. That's the word I was looking for.
And to be able to then integrate that into your individual life is where the key is hidden. Right? So then it becomes for me, it was the walk. What is it that can be created to help people understand in a way that feels easy? In a way that is like in their pocket or in their hand, where they're like, okay, I'm really struggling with the fact that I'm not sleeping, or the fact that my kids just won't listen, or whatever that struggle in the day-to-day life is, and having a place to be like, where can I get an answer? Where can I get a sense of peace? Where can I get a little bit of guidance? And having that space to feel seen and to feel heard and to actually feel like you're a part of something.
I keep hearing the word anchor into.
Yes.
Like, what can you anchor into?
Yeah. And
let that be a mirror, not of someone else, but of you.
Exactly.
You're anchoring right back into your own energetics,
the way in which,
your own individuality, the way in which you're served best. And therefore, the ability to discern exactly what you need becomes so much clearer, because you've already, the place you've entered, you're stepping into a place where the noise has been disseminated.
Right. We've created paths. We've created this is my issue. Where do I go from there? We've made it easy. We've broken it down. We've made the pieces. And if it's not easy, then you ask the question and you're guided through it. Right? It's a matter of like allowing yourself to know that it can be that easy.
Yes,
because we're taught it's so hard.
We're taught it's so hard. We're taught that it's that the answers are outside of us.
Yes, absolutely.
And so
When that's not truth.
when that's not truth, absolutely. When actually the sort of circle or the weaving of the web that's happening is we're returning you to you,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. Allowing
And
you to live in your own skin of who you're meant to be, not who you feel like you should be.
and who you at like underneath all of the projections and all of the noise, you already intuitively know that you are.
Yeah.
And so that mirror is hard to find when people are projecting, when there's noise, when things are busy, when life is not moving in a way where, you know, your neighbor and Bob across the street, they're not in coherence. And so you feel like there's something wrong with you.
Absolutely.
When you actually feel anchored within yourself. And so returning back to this place of being like, here, remember who you are, not remember who someone else's projection of you is.
There's also the level of, you don't have to keep up with the Joneses, right? I try to speak in simple terms because that is like one of the terms that people can resonate with, right? It's like, okay, I have to have the best car because my neighbor just got the next level up or the new version or whatever that looks like. We live, or at least I grew up in a society where you have to have the best. We lived in a wealthy place. And so that it became well, if I have this, what are you going to have that's going to be better than that? And it's really not about being better. It's about being who you are actually versus trying to fill your, let's say, human world with things to make it feel like you're the best when you actually have to go within to actually anchor into you, to know you are the best version of you versus having to feel like you have to be the best version.
Yeah, it's insourcing your own belief in yourself, your own worth, your own love, rather than finding it externally. Because we know that when we go inward, that naturally radiates outward.
Right.
But we've been taught it's like, go look for it outside yourself, because you don't actually have it within when that isn't truth at all.
No, and it's a matter of accepting yourself versus feeling accepted from society.
I think an important point that you just made is accepting yourself. So I have this very deep belief that we have to, when we think of like a GPS and, you know, it asks you like, where would you like to go? There's always a beginning place, but we don't think about it that way, right?
No.
So
where are you in this moment?
Where are you in this moment?
Yeah.
So it's like, whether you're in chaos or whether you're feeling overwhelmed or whether you're feeling disconnected from yourself or whether you're escaping or whether you're ignoring
or lost
yeah, or ungrounded, there's the self-love, the acceptance begins in that very place. It's not, it's going to come to me when I land somewhere else. Because like a GPS, it wants to be like, okay, but where are you actually starting? Like, we want to go here. I'll show you the guided path to get there.
Yeah.
But if you can't meet yourself where you are, then there's constantly this resistance and this struggle. And I really believe that the anchoring place of that self-love and acceptance and forgiveness begins when we can look at exactly where we are. And I think that's actually the deepest place of resistance, because we don't want to look at where we are because we're not where we thought we would be or we want to be.
That's the initial space of awareness, right? That initial awareness is like, okay, I need to change. What I'm doing isn't working. The life that I'm living isn't working, whatever that looks like. And so when you meet yourself where you are, we also meet you where you are.
Then you can be supported, then you can be guided. But
if you're not willing to meet yourself, you'll never be able to get to the destination of where you want to be because you're not willing to see yourself in the hard times.
So what was one of the tools or the beginning places that supported you in when you were looking for that truth or that reflection or that acceptance of like, where am I at?
I have to say it's self. It always, regardless of whether you're willing to give yourself the credit or not, it is always yourself, because you're willing enough to be like, this isn't working, I'm not happy, whatever that story is that you're telling yourself, you made the choice. You made the choice to do something different. You made the choice to find the mentor. You may credit that mentor with everything, and that mentor may have done everything to help you get out of where you were, but you need to give yourself the credit first.
That's reining your power back in.
That's exactly it.
And I think it's interesting because part of so much of this purpose and this mission here is to also remember that you hold the keys to your power. And so we're over here guiding you, but we're actually handing your keys back to you. Yeah. They have always.
We're holding the belief in that for you until you can hold it for yourself.
It's beautiful. It reminds me of this reflection of like, who are the believing mirrors in your life? The people who are going to hold that space for you to see yourself in a way that you haven't or you never have. And
it's different than what you have.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Who can see that light in you. I think we spend a lot of time, I know in my own mentorship place, I've needed that. I've needed that guidance for that individual to hold that light for me, because what I experienced and what I lived in for so long was sort of those dark parts, the parts that were heavy, the parts that I didn't want to look at. And so it became so normal to live in that space that it's like, I forgot about my light. Yeah. Here I was,
because you can't even see it. You're so clouded.
You can't read the label from inside the bottle is like one of my favorite expressions of this is you can't see that. And some of us carry energy that helps us to see other people's souls. Absolutely. You are a beautiful example of that. Other of us can hear other people's souls speaking. Yeah. And I think it's finding the correct place in which that can be, offered to you. But like you said, that silver platter that you're being handed comes from you initially taking that first step. And I love what you said, giving yourself the power back, that it was actually you that made that decision to take that first step. Because we give all of our power away, even to everything else. It's like it has to be with you.
Yeah, and if you don't acknowledge that little piece of it, you're never actually going to fully be able to shift your identity, because you can't even acknowledge the fact that you're the one who took the first step. Right? We all need mentors. We all need a mentor for something at some point in our life. And there can be a period of time where you don't need one, but
someone who's holding the light there.
Whenever you're trying to truly get to a level that you've never even had the possibility to consider something different, there's a reason for the guidance of others.
Mm-hmm. We're not meant to do this alone.
No, absolutely not. We are meant to be like, okay, who do I connect with? Who may hold that belief in me for the period of time that I need to then cross that bridge, to cross that liminal space where it's like, okay, I'm here. I don't need you to hold that for me, and I'm taking all of it back now. When you've allowed yourself to push yourself forward into this space with mentorship or guidance or whatever, however you want to look at it, even just a community, right? Even just finding those words of others who are able to meet you where you're at, and then help you bridge the gap to where you actually want to be, right?
I love that. I think there's a big, I love that word bridge, because there's something about taking that walk from where you are to where you're going, and taking that ownership and power back, like you expressed. You're the one who's actually building the bridge.
Exactly.
It's being built as you take a step. And much like, when there's fog, we can't see. You're in a vehicle, or you're walking, you're driving, you're moving into a place, that you're headed that direction, but you can't quite see where you're going. Building that bridge is that like one step, whether you like the analogy of like laying a brick, or whether it's like, you're putting the planks down and you're crossing a river. Some of us, I say, are building a bridge over the Grand Canyon. Like that's just what your soul chose.
Yes.
But in that fog, there's like a little light.
Yeah. And you have to stay focused on said light though, because if your goal or your dream or your desire of a better self isn't strong enough, you're gonna walk off the bridge.
And that's what you
that's all there is to it.
Well, if there's a canyon, it might just be
back, but still.
Oh, I'm right at the
though?
Grand Canyon right now.
That's
Yeah.
a long fall. But still, if your desire is not strong enough within you, then you will. It's the whole 2 steps forward, 3 steps back type situation.
And that tango happens, and I want to say it's like the desire, but it's that signal from your soul. When you can cut through the noise, when you can anchor into your own energy, your own coherence, then that signal of your soul becomes so loud that is the thing that keeps you going. And when you have those guides, like that light shining, then there's an immediate like connection.
Absolutely.
That goes through there. I mean, the people that we're called to be guided by isn't random.
No.
There's it's like that red string theory that already exists. So all you need to answer is like that, this feels really yummy and delicious. Yeah. And if it does, it might not make sense between you and the bridge that you have to build and the light that you see over there. It's not going to make sense to your mind, but it's how it feels to you, and that sort of like that blind faith and trust.
Yeah. But there's also the level of, while you're doing that blind faith and trust, you're being guided through lessons. And if you're not willing to learn the lesson, you're not going to make it across the bridge, right? I think that is one of the big kickers, is like, we are literally meant to continue to remember. And then if you're not allowing that to come through, then you get stuck.
You know, it's funny. I heard this analogy of like, time is not linear. It's not like one thing and then the next, but rather this like going around in this circular spiral. So it's like you're going and you're on this, like, let's imagine a staircase, because I love analogies.
Oh yeah, fair.
Of like this spiral staircase, and you're going through and you're weaving and going up, and all of a sudden you're at the same window looking at the same view. And so the perspective is like, your perception of this is like, why am I here again? And so it's like, you just didn't quite remember, learn the lesson, however you want to say it. And so the invitation in that moment is like, if I'm returning to the same place with the same view, clearly there's a perspective shift that I need to see this a different way.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think oftentimes it's in those moments that the invitation actually is like, can you stop pointing fingers at everybody else, like you said, and take that ownership of self and go, whether it's just you're beginning your journey and going like, this is where I'm at, this is my beginning step, this is my self-acceptance, or I'm going somewhere else.
The circular motion, I've always said, like, you move in a circular state. We live cyclical, right? And so then it becomes okay, yes, you've made it further, but you're gonna come back.
Sometimes you go down the
stairs. Well, but to make sure you've learned the lesson, because something will pop up, whether it's a person, a situation, something that triggers that same lesson that you were supposed to learn, to see if you've actually
alchemized it.
Thank you. And where you're able to respond to it or make the change that was necessary to then be able to bring your circle a little bit more forward the next time around, right? So
absolutely. And I think it's in those moments, I like to call them like, those are those thresholds, right? That's that, like, is your plank being laid down? Is it being set? Or are you like,
to it for a minute?
Or are we just holding on and I got the visual being like, I'm going to take this plank and it's going to be like, I'm done with this moment. But it's that threshold, that moment where you're like, I'm done with this. This is that moment of tension, and especially like resistance. It's that moment of resistance that when you're walking this path yourself, that you fall back into your old pattern. And so,
and that's okay.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. That's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is it is okay to fall back and stay there for a little bit.
Sometimes you need to remember that just a little bit more. You need to fill your remembering cup of that a little bit more.
Yes.
But when you are moving with the intention, because I think everything is intention, is when you have that guidance, you have that moment, that opportunity to say, hey, I'm at this threshold. I'm at this place where like, I'm ready to set the next plank on this bridge that I'm building. And I'm met with this pattern that I've done every single time. And first of all, it's like this acknowledgement and love and compassion for yourself that you even had the courage to look back, because our patterns are something that we resist looking at. We resist moving, even acknowledging that like, hey, this is the like finger pointing outwards. And
you really should be pointing it at
really pointing them in at yourself.
It should be coming back to you.
Yes, to be to you.
What are you going to do about someone else?
It's not called outer love. It's called self-love, right? So love is that unconditional peace where it's not about anybody else. Sorry. It's that self-love.
Yeah, it's
right?
not about anybody else.
It's not about anybody else, but acknowledging like, this is where I'm beginning. These are the patterns. Now I have to build this bridge and lay this plank.
We're also taught to point fingers though.
Oh, of course, because everything is outsourced, right?
So that in itself is something to learn. That in itself is one of those planks is, okay, I'm pointing my fingers at you and it's like, okay, I just did that and I shouldn't have done that. And now I need to look at myself this time, and it can keep happening. And that's that same circular thing. That's that same situation.
Meeting yourself.
Back, and
yes.
It's like, okay, now I'm no longer going to point my fingers.
And I think we become a victim though of like, I'm walking the spiral staircase. Why am I seeing the same view again? And we think that it's because of someone else.
Right.
But it isn't.
No.
It is. It's
No.
always us that we're seeing that same view. And so if you want to look out a different window, you're going to have to shift your perspective on something. You're going to have to accept something. You're going to have to alchemize something.
But you also have to start with the awareness. You have to be able to even be aware that you're doing it. Right?
Yes.
And that, I think, is one of the hardest pieces. Because if you're not aware, it's never going to change.
You're just walking in loop. This is exactly when people talk about like, you're looping. You're just looping. Yeah. And so when you can have someone, when you're not able to read the label from inside the bottle, you cannot see sometimes your own pattern or the thing that you're looped. And we each carry a unique loop or a pattern that needs to be learned. Yeah. And you don't always have that awareness through someone else, because other people will project their inherited, chosen wound onto you. And so then you have this belief that that thing that they're projecting actually is yours. And oftentimes I find
they're projecting their version of their truth
onto you. And
as your own truth.
Exactly. And
That's
it's not
true.
even, and so you're doing this, like trying to do this alchemy of this thing. And you're like, wow, we're going around in this spiral and still looking out the same window. And you're leaking energy and spending time on someone else's projection of what they think your wound is rather than your own. And so hilarious. I love that we use this analogy, and so looping all the way back on this staircase to the beginning of this conversation is the importance and the value of, when you're beginning, is to first understand your own energetics and exactly who you are, so that when you are met in those moments and you're taking the time and the effort and the intention, that that what you are walking and what you are alchemizing actually belongs to you.
Yes. Yeah.
And therefore you stop leaking energy. It's going to take effort. It's going to take, it is not a pretty walk, but at least the intention is going, the energy is going into the right place. Yeah. And it's not based on someone else's projection of you. It's not someone else's stuff.
No, and the walk is, yeah, it's not pretty, it's not easy, it is hard. It is. It
necessary,
is hard,
but very
it
hard.
It is necessary, and that's the thing, is the walk itself is leading you to a life that is not the life that you're living. You will no longer then live the life that you were living before unless you choose not to do the things that you need to learn on this walk, right? But getting to that other side is good. Getting to the other side of it where you aren't the victim, where you aren't putting on blame, where you're not holding shame or any of that crap that we deal with, it feels good. It's lighter. Yeah, you're still going to have trials.
Yes.
And I think that's what people don't understand is life is always going to have hard moments. It's always going to have hard moments. There's a lot of polarity. There's hard, there's easy, there's dark, there's light. All of that is always present. It's what are you going to do? How are you going to look at it? How are you going to move forward through it?
Yes. And the level at which it's going to affect you changes.
Exactly.
The level at which you stay marinating in that moment, trying to figure out if this belongs to so-and-so or whether it belongs to you or whether or not it's something you need to even like really, really sit in. You move, you shift through those moments because you've gained so much awareness. You've called so much of your energy back in that you know exactly who you are. And so the rest of the things, it's like they just fall away. You can set your plank down.
They don't matter.
It doesn't matter. No. You see other people and they're going to point fingers if they haven't done their walk, if they haven't alchemized what they're meant to alchemize, but you have. And so, I mean, there's lots of places that, and invitations I feel like we can go in this way, whether it's, talking about that can feel like a lonely place to do this. It can also feel like, speaking of like other people's work, it's like you can never make somebody do.
No, you cannot do the work for somebody else. You just can't. But ultimately, I think the biggest piece is you get to decide your own truth. Right? You get to decide if that projection onto you is true or not. Just because someone else thinks it's your truth doesn't mean that it actually is.
And that sense of self is so much easier to anchor into when you remember exactly who you are. When you remember exactly who you are and your sense of self comes from, I have all of these. I feel like I finally get to be like, it's a confirmation burp. As a channel, I've never been able to say that out loud on a recording. So confirmation burp, yes, anchoring into yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. It's honing into who you are. Yeah.
It's a coming home. It's a remembering and doing it in a way that is free of noise, that is honoring of yourself, and that is full of courage and love, unconditional love for yourself. It's so important. It's so important to remember that all of this is meant to love and accept all the pieces of you because they have gotten you to where you are. And when you're beginning, we aren't shaming like this is what you've done, this is what you've walked through, this is the person you didn't really like that you were. You're shedding the projections, you're shedding the noise, you're shedding the incoherence. And that is the walk of like the death and rebirth. And we're peeling the layers of the onions. We're moving all of that energy out and allowing our bodies to feel again what it feels like to be ourselves.
To feel empowered.
Yeah, to feel empowered and to feel loved and to feel like we're finally home.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
I love that.
If this episode landed for you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs it, or leave a few kind words in a review. To go deeper, check out our bio, where you can connect with us and go even deeper in your individual journey. Until next time, friends, keep listening inward, honor your design, and allow yourself to be guided.